Welcome back to the channel, guys. Kerrod here in the studio once again at Joondalup Resort, and in this video I'm going to be showing you how to correctly hinge your wrists if you're a player who is lacking distance. And in the halfway back position you've got this look where the lead arm and the club shaft is in too much of an alignment and there's no wrist hinge. This is the video for you. This is going to give you more power and help you get more of a descending blow on that golf ball. Let's get into it. Now, there are three main components in the golf swing that create speed. They are your wrists, they are your arms, and they are the turn of your body. In this video, we're going to be talking about your wrists and how that plays a vital role in creating speed in your golf swing. So starting off in the address position here. If you were to look at yourself in the mirror, or you get your buddy to film you and you get back into the halfway position here, and you're a player that tends to have their lead arm and the club shaft in alignment in the backswing, and also in the downswing, well, you are not creating any wrist hinge or leverage with that golf club, and you are going to lack speed. The reason being is the wrists in the golf swing, well, they activate the speed. The arms, they accelerate that speed, and the body turn, well, that's the horsepower. So without our wrists, we can't activate any of those other components, and we're going to really struggle to get the distance that we're looking for. So starting off in the address position, what we'd be looking for is a structure to our arms. Our club shaft and our lead arm is in alignment, and our right arm, for me being a right-hander, is sitting on the back of that grip. Now, as we move this golf club back, by the time that our lead arm is parallel, as a general reference, what we're looking to get is the lead arm and the club shaft forming somewhat of an L shape. Now, it's not going to be perfect, but it's going to be close enough that you could be able to identify it relative to having this alignment in a straight position like this. Then as we then continue to turn to the top and complete our backswing, and then as we start down, by the time that this lead arm and club shaft is in this position once again, we would also be looking for an L shape. We would actually increase this angle, and that would be commonly what we refer to as lag. Now, the way that we do this is quite important, because you can't just overly exaggerate the wrist hinge, because that's going to affect what the club face is doing. It's more than likely going to open, or you're going to cup your wrists by doing so, and then you're going to really struggle to get a quality strike on that golf ball. So I'm going to show you the right way to hinge your wrists so you can get the benefits of creating speed, but also some quality compression and strike when that golf club finally hits the ball. So starting off from the address position, what we're going to do is we're going to start to feel that we're hinging our wrists really early in the takeaway. Now, this is going to feel quite odd for those of you who have very little wrist hinge. So what I want you to feel is the back wrist, or the right wrist for the right hander, is moving straight back in this position. Now, I'm going to give you a really good checkpoint to focus on, but effectively with this right wrist, we want it to move straight back into this condition. So from the address position, let's say there might be a little bend to my right wrist, or if it's flat. By the time that the club shaft gets to this parallel position, I want you to feel that your back wrist bends back. So by the time that your hands are in front of your right leg, your right wrist is already bent. Now, if you look down at your left hand here for the right hander, we would want to see our left wrist flat. Now, what you've done here is you've activated the wrist straight off the golf ball, and therefore it's going to be a lot easier from this position than to continue your pivot. So by the time we get back to our big checkpoint here, we've created that L-shaped structure. Now, where most players go wrong when they try and create wrist hinge is they hinge their wrists in too much of a vertical fashion. Now, this is okay for pitching, but for power, as you swing this golf club back, you end up doing what's called cupping the wrist. So from the down the line view, if I do that movement and then I continue to swing, what we can see is this left wrist is cupped and the club face is very open. That's going to cause me to get very steep with the face open, and we're going to get a slice shot and some inconsistent contact as a result. So the way that we hinge our wrists is very, very important. So from the down the line view, recreating that same feel as I was discussing before, my right wrist is moving back and my left wrist is flat. This is going to put the golf club in a position where the shaft is parallel, my hands are in front of my right leg, and you can see that the club face is not straight up and down, it's slightly tipped down towards the ground. As I then continue to pivot towards the top, I'm effectively just keeping that right wrist bent, and that allows me to create some wrist hinge and leverage in the backswing. And then as I swing through, keeping that right wrist bent, that will create a lagging sensation where you can get some distance and power as a result. So now we've covered how to correctly hinge the wrists in the backswing. What's a drill that we can do? Well, one of my favorite is simply just an early wrist set drill in which from the address position, you would be simply looking just to achieve that backswing wrist hinge that I was talking about. So off the golf ball, right wrist bends back for the right hander, left wrist is flat. You've preset the hinge. From there, I just want you to feel like your chest turns back and through. The more you do that, you'll start to establish a feeling of how that golf club should be set by the time that the lead arm gets back to parallel here. So from the face-on view, we're in the address position, the right wrist bends back, the left wrist is flat, turn the chest back, you can see I've created this L-shaped structure, and then from there, all I'm doing is following through, and eventually, yeah, the club shaft and the lead arm's gonna line up, but even just getting a sensation of what that correct wrist hinge by that backswing position should feel like is gonna help massively with creating a new idea and a new sensation of how that golf club should move through the ball to get the most out of your shots. So if you're struggling with distance, this is a concept that you need to understand and you need to rehearse and practice as much as possible. Once again, my favorite drill, bend the right wrist back for the right hander. From there, chest goes back, chest goes through. You're feeling like you're trying to keep that right wrist bent the entire time. And as you do so, that'll help create this lagging feeling where the club head will get to the point where the hands are in front and you'll look just like the pros that you watch on the PGA Tour. So if you're struggling with power and distance and you're not hinging your wrists correctly, this is the video for you. This is the exercise for you. If you like it, please go down below, comment, tell me how you went implementing this. I'd love to hear how much distance and how much your ball striking improved as a result. And like always, click subscribe, click that little bell so you get notified of all the videos just like this. But until next time, I'm Kerrod. Thanks for watching.